Every now and then, we all find ourselves craving those comforting films from childhood, perhaps as an escape, or perhaps to remind us of some timeless core values that become less apparent the older we get. For me, this usually means going back to animated favorites like Lilo and Stitch, Finding Nemo, or Studio Ghibli films like Ponyo and Spirited Away. That being said, it's always nice to discover something new, even when childhood is far behind us. Hey everyone, it's Evan, and today we're going to discuss a gorgeous work of animation that I came across a few years back. Song of the Sea, released in 2014, is a hand-drawn 2D animated fantasy film directed and co-produced by Tomm Moore, based on his original story and a screenplay written by Will Collins. The film was produced by Cartoon Saloon, an Irish animation studio in partnership with studios based in Belgium, Denmark, France, and Luxembourg, and is the second installment in Tomm Moore's Irish folklore trilogy, nestled between The Secret of Kells, which came out in 2009, and Wolfwalkers, released in 2020. The film's haunting, Celtic-infused score was composed primarily by Bruno Coulet in collaboration with the Irish group Keela. Coulet is known for his work on other notable animated films like Coraline and Wendell and Wild, both of which also deal with themes of mystery, magic, and other worlds. Also featured in the film's score are the musical contributions of French musicians Nolwenn Leroy and Slim Pezin, as well as Irish musician Lisa Hannigan, who also lends both her vocals and voice acting skills to the film. Song of the Sea has been described as a proudly Irish story, blending the contemporary with traditional Celtic mythology. As such, it features a predominantly Irish cast, including some well-known names in mainstream cinema like Brendan Gleeson and Fionnuala Flanagan, as well as the aforementioned Lisa Hannigan. To begin, the story is set in the 1980s and centers around Ben, a 10-year-old boy and his mute younger sister Saoirse, who live with their father Connor in a lighthouse off the coast of Ireland. It is Saoirse's 6th birthday, although not everyone is in a celebratory mood. Years earlier, the children's mother, Brona, mysteriously vanished the night she gave birth to Saoirse, with the family presuming her dead, taken by the sea. For this reason, Ben resents Saoirse and is often mean and hostile towards her. We also observe their father, Connor, in a state of mourning, unable to move on from losing his wife. That night, while everyone else is asleep, Saoirse discovers a magical sealskin coat that allows her to transform into a selkie, a fabled creature who can exist as a seal in the ocean and as a human on land. But when the siblings' grandmother, who is visiting from Dublin, deems the lighthouse an unfit place to raise children, Connor reluctantly allows her to bring them back to the mainland to live with her. Once there, however, Ben and Saoirse immediately run away, setting off on a mythic journey where the children encounter Celtic spirits, fairies, and ancient beings, like Macha, a grief-stricken owl witch who turns people to stone to rid them of their sorrow, as well as the great Shanachie, whose long strands of hair contain the memories and stories of all human and fairy kind alike, including Ben's. As Saoirse gradually grows weaker from being separated from the sea and her coat, Ben realizes that he must learn the truth about their mother's disappearance and confront his own pain in order to help save his sister. In terms of his inspiration for Song of the Sea, director Tomm Moore stated in an interview that he originally got the idea from a trip that he and his family took to the seaside around Dingle, southwest Ireland. Moore recalled that he and his son, also named Ben, had discovered dead seals on the beach and were told by a local that people were no longer talking about the legend of the Selkies. It was then that Moore realized that Ireland's folklore was being forgotten, and so he began looking for a way to bring these stories back for future generations to remember. Speaking personally as someone with a deep love of Celtic mythology, I'm always eager to see the myths and legends that fascinated me growing up depicted on screen. So far, there are a few notable examples in mainstream cinema, including 2007's The Water Horse, a childhood favorite of mine which pays homage to the Scottish Kelpie, as well as Disney Pixar's 2012 animated feature Brave, which introduced Western viewers to the mysterious ghost lights known as the Will-o'-the-Wisps. But what I really love about Song of the Sea is that, despite being a fantasy film, at its core, this is a story about family, loss, healing, and growth, and it doesn't tiptoe around the complexities of the human condition. For instance, a character like Ben is not made sympathetic to the viewer because he is faultless and consistently pure-intentioned. Instead, here is a realistic portrayal of a child who is lashing out because he has known loss in his life and doesn't know how else to cope with it, so he places the blame on someone else. Likewise, something else I found to be really interesting was the fact that the adult characters in the film have folkloric counterparts, whom they share something in common with, therefore bridging the gap between the mythic and the real world. For instance, Granny's counterpart is Maka, the owl witch, someone who only wants what's best for the people she loves, but goes the wrong way about showing it. She evidently believes in hardening yourself in order to survive. Much like Granny, we initially interpret Maka as a villain from Ben's stories, but we later see that there are more layers to her. Without relying on the whole happy endings are guaranteed to those who deserve it trope that a lot of children's films tend to impress upon young viewers, Song of the Sea manages to intertwine the strange and mystical with a very human tale, one that I think will resonate with many. Song of the Sea premiered at the 2014 Toronto International Film Festival on September 6th as part of the TIFF Kids program and was released theatrically in France, Belgium, and Luxembourg. It also received a limited release in North America in December of 2014, which qualified it for an Academy Award nomination. Unfortunately, the film lost the award to Big Hero 6, which, to be fair, was a pretty amazing film in its own right. However, Song of the Sea did go on to win the Satellite Award for Best Animated or Mixed Media Feature and the European Film Award for Best Animated Feature Film. These days, it's difficult to find where you can watch this gem of a film, although you can either stream it on Crave TV if you have a subscription, or you can rent or purchase it on Amazon Prime or iTunes. For Met Radio 1280 AM in Toronto, I'm Evan Zeller, and thanks for joining me today.